Very good morning to all of you viewers, and welcome to a wonderful episode now of Lockdown Musings. Now, this particular episode is very important to all of us parents because the schools and colleges are having an extended holiday, and this holiday could last as much as up to the end of July. We are not sure right now, but indications are that way. Now, when we have the kids at home full time and the parents at home also full time, I think there is a clash of civilizations. And sometimes it's a little difficult to handle their expectations of how they would like to pass their time. And for us as parents, it's also a little more difficult to understand what their expectations are of how they want to pass their time. Now, we have got to keep them busy, or else they will keep us busy with what they want us to do. So we have to find the right balance. And just to give us some tips on those things, especially this very crucial area of managing the kids during the holidays, I spoke to Odil Medeira. Now, she's truly a child enthusiast. She's based in Mumbai and she's joining me from Mumbai. She has been training children for the last 35 years in speech and dramatics and enhancing their personalities. And every child, when she's handling them, comes out a winner. Now, what makes Odil different? It's her ability to write prize-winning poems. One of them has appeared already on our website, newskarnataka.com. Speeches and debates to specialized themes and relevant topics of the day. Her teaching methods are creative and innovative. And the fact of the matter that she writes for children, she understands children very well. She's working with children almost 12 hours a day and for a long time now. So she's just the right person to bring out the best of your child. I would like to begin by asking Odil, how are the children that you are in contact with dealing with their holidays? Let me start there.
I haven't had that much contact, to be honest, with the children. It was, I think I've met them all around the 11th of March when they were giving their speech and drama Trinity exams. But the call now and again is, oh, miss, we are so bored, we don't know what to do. And that's bound to be because nobody expected to be locked in at home, especially children. And I think the Bombay children have that bug to go out every evening, if not anywhere, to their tuition class or downstairs to play. And it must be quite oppressive to be locked in at home. But quite frankly, Brian, I think this is a godsend. Because during the academic year, both parents are working, as you know. There's not very much quality time they can spend with the children. And this is that golden opportunity to be able to really have a one-on-one rapport with the children and do fun and creative and interesting things for them. I want to just read one of the poems that I've written for grade 4. We're doing online classes in Bombay. I don't know about the rest of the country.
They're doing it, I think, almost everywhere, yes.
Most of the schools where I am, they ask for speech and drama to continue because that's a fun subject. And it might break the monotony of continuous reading and writing. So this is what I wrote for grade 3 or 4. It could be worse. What could be worse than sitting at home with online lessons and banned from the phone? Helping out with household chores? When will this end? Well, nobody knows. Granny says, you know what can be much worse, my dear? A power outage or being stuck for a year. Daddy says, having no television to break the monotony, no sky or sun, no kids or their family, not having friends or being all alone, no food on the table, no clothes to be worn. Mummy says, if the sun did not rise and the moon gave no light, the world would be dark, a terrible sight. So count your blessings, 1, 2, 3. So many more to count, you will see clearly. And Granny adds, a home to live in with loving family and birds you can hear chirping merrily. A school that cares to send lessons online. Don't you grumble. You are just fine. It could be worse, much worse. So the first thing is to teach them not to grumble but make use of this time. And there are so many things to do. My first tip to all parents, get a journal for your children.
Okay.
Maybe the shops are closed, but from their own last year's books, the year has just gone by. Start writing a personal journal. Whatever they see, the difference between the life we knew and the life as we know it now. There are so many more birds in Mumbai chirping. I hear them early in the morning. It's so much more silent, Brian. And not just about the environment, but they can write their personal thoughts, try to write poems, try to just put their thoughts down, express them on a book. And I think in a year or so, when they look at it, they'll see how much they have grown. So I would really ask them to start with a journal for even the little ones.
Okay. And journal, when you say journal, you're not talking about using the iPad. You're talking about actually writing down something.
No, they must write.
Okay.
We
Because
can correct this.
many people have forgotten how to write.
I think school children are still writing, and it's almost so much more flavorful when you write or when you read a book, the physical copy of it, just the joy of turning the pages. So it's nice for them to write a journal and write a journal.
I'll come back to the corollary of that. Writing must also involve a little bit of reading, but how do you get the children to read, especially nowadays?
I do reading class in certain schools, and I do it from grades 1 to 4.
Uh-huh.
Normally, I will pick a book that all of them can concentrate on for that period. They love Roald Dahl, like the Twits or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and George's Marvelous Medicine. I tried reading Enid Blyton. They couldn't have the attention span for it because I think they can't identify with
The character.
that kind of. It's a little old, yeah. But Roald Dahl, you read it and the children even tell you which page you stopped at. So the next week when I come into school, say, oh, miss, you stopped at so-and-so page. But I went to the library and I got the book and I finished it. So that's a good way for parents to work now. Take a book that's interesting. At the most interesting part, say, now, honey, it's your turn. You read to me. And they will, because they want to know the rest of the story.
Okay. And what about the other activities that they can get engaged in?
I think a little bit of gardening. It doesn't have to be high-tech, some big garden, terrace garden. Just a few potted plants. Their feelings with nature, watching that grow, painting, using banana peels and potato peels, all these scraps to make lovely paintings, stick it on a board and paint over it. Using old t-shirts to inscribe their names with paint, customizing their own water bottles. There's so much to do, and I'm sure mommy and daddy must have time now to clean out closets.
Yeah,
so it's a good way to find old garments, challenge the children to wear them, take on a character and act. Every day could be a different garment and every day could be a new act. You will see their imagination grow.
And you might find a new Shah Rukh Khan. We don't know.
Oh yes, I'm dealing with lots of them who are Shah Rukh and beyond, I think.
What about the household chores? Do you suggest that they be engaged in that?
Of course, they must help. The schools I teach in mostly, I think, where both parents are working. At some level, the mums also work. And the children don't know what it is to use a broom or to dust, or they haven't even been in one of the Mumbai trains. So this is a good time. I feel we need to teach our children a bit of sensitivity and empathy. So when they are made to do these little household chores, they can understand what the maids go through or what mummy has to do if it doesn't get done. They can do some cooking with mom. It's so easy today to download a recipe and try something new. So I think this is a great time to be in the kitchen with mom, and mom can make stuff that you don't need the fire, like ribbon sandwiches, and cut them into different shapes, triangles and squares and circular. So you're giving them an all-round lesson,
Yeah, you're giving
a
them.
life skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what else can they do? Is there anything else
What else?
out of, let us say, out of the box that they can do?
I think most children today, this is not so out of the box, but it's very doable in a flat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put
That's
on, put on your favorite music and dance. And dance to your own steps. If you are shy about mom and dad being there, you don't have to do it in front of them. Maybe go into a room and do it when nobody's, when they promise not to watch you. That helps two ways. One, it's creative expression, and second, you're keeping fit also. Another great thing when cleaning closets is regular socks. Put them over your hands and do puppetry. There's a lot you can do. I mean, even with garbage, let's take garbage for instance. In a city like Mumbai, most homes don't segregate garbage. So if we taught children that now from an early morning exercise, this is wet, this can go into the earth and be beneficial to the earth. This doesn't integrate very well with earth. So this has to go separately. And when things get better, we'll go down into the compound and do a compost pit. For now, we're going to, there's so many things you can think up on the spot.
And one last question, Odil. How
Yes.
do you handle the mobile phone and the internet when the children are at home and when you are at home? Now, this can eat into your other activity, actual physical activity. So,
Yeah.
what's your take?
I always tell them one thing. When is the last time India uh, produced an inventor? An inventor. And that's simply because, not because we don't have the brains. I think in all the nations, India has the smartest kids. But today, the kids are not using their gray cells only because it's all ready made there for them on a tablet or on the TV. So I tell the children that I'm teaching. If you want to be special, and I'm not saying a brain, but to think creatively and differently from others. One is read, because when you read, you're making your own pictures in your mind and it's not ready made from the television. And secondly, using those appliances just makes you so dull and boring. So try other activities, sport, just try some free hand exercises at home. There's this TV and the gadgetry. I really so dislike this age for what it's doing to the children.
That's why it's very important it was very important for me to ask you that question, because I'm sure a lot of parents have to deal with that problem every day. Uh, Once you're locked down at home, the main source of entertainment is the TV and the mobile.
Screen time has to be one, supervised, and two, limited, even if they are at home. It has to be supervised. I think the news is telling us every day about what unsavory channels are going up with their viewership. We have to be very careful of what the children watch. So it has to be supervised and limited. This is the right time for parents to say, you get nothing else but a book. You've just got to read. And if they can't go to a library, well, then download one. Then you can't help it but read on Kindle or on a screen. But still, they're reading.
Yeah, that's important. I agree. So I actually Odil also takes the LTCL, ATCL exams for the Trinity College in London and in speech and drama. So he just heard to read a poem, and the poem was apt, to the point, and uh, the best that you can hear on the subject. So I thank you very much, Odil, for this very short interview that we had. The tips that you gave, I'm sure the parents uh, will learn a lot from them, and they need it because they are also looking for guidance somewhere or the other. So thank you very much for joining me on the show, and we'll do another episode sometime during the month.
Thank you so much, Brian. If we have helped even one child, we've done a good job.
Absolutely, that was the purpose. Thank you very much.